The Orville, Season 2, Episode 10, Blood of Patriots.
Y'all forget shiny metal.
Yeah,
The Seth Star.
yeah. Which, I think that's the same that's the same award Catan got. Um, but, yeah, it's nice to see Yaphet get some respect, some recognition. Because that was a pretty awesome move at the end of,
I mean, just in the middle of it, when he almost fried himself to send out that message.
yeah. Well, yeah.
That was what he got the silver.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. But I thought it was
Sapphire.
closer to the end than the middle. But yeah,
It was the middle of the second story.
yeah. So I was thinking about it as a whole story. So it was towards the end of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, terminology differences. But yeah.
Semantics.
What?
Semantics.
Yeah.
But that
the fact that he turned gray after shorting out a Kalon by jumping into the Kalon.
Yeah.
That's what he got the.
At the very end, he also revived.
Yeah. Isaac.
Revived Isaac. So that's the one I thought you meant when you said.
Yeah. No, I was referring to the other one, but that was also good too. That was only possible because of what he did earlier.
That was even more heroic to him because he basically revived his rival.
Yeah, his romantic rival for Finn's attention. He climbed inside them and revived them. It's like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's safe to say that he's been inside both of them now.
Yeah. I used that joke when I did when I wrote my Osgood and Sam swapped bodies story.
Of course you did.
Anyway, so with all this going on, this is interesting in that it's one of the first times we've actually, it seems like this is going to be more than a 2-episode sort of storyline thing that's going to go through. Like this Kalon War is going to be something that's going to stretch for a while. It may go in and out of what's important, but this is very much reminiscent of sort of, this is them. Yeah, Kittimer Accord. This is the getting together to fight the Borg, that sort of thing. It's just like this is a we're we're gonna go. We have this larger threat over Dominion War, that sort of thing. We have this larger threat over here. We're gonna go deal with fighting each other is going to be counterproductive at this point. So if we join forces, we could beat them, and then we could squabble later.
And I love the that Ed can't handle his Eldorian vodka, so he used the oldest trick in the book, tossing it over his shoulder.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was.
And then Saved by the Bell.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt. No. Your timing is perfect for me.
Yeah. Which again they throw him. Though to be fair, he literally has spent the most time as probably more time than anybody in the Union amongst the Krill. So he's probably got the best,
And that's what they even said. They said, like, surely there's somebody better more qualified.
Yeah, you have loads of diplomats at your disposal. Why are you sending me?
No. You have the most experience with the Krill. You have to go. It's you.
Yeah, but so. But yeah,
we're not going to pry on how much experience, but you've got the most experience.
A little bit is more than nothing. So
Exactly.
But yeah, so the whole point of the episode is to get the peace treaty with the Krill to where they can make an alliance to fight the Kalon. And so with that being said, it just sort of, it's like this should be, should be a walk in the park. You have all the reason in the world to do this if you want to achieve this. But it also is, it's interesting the Krill diplomat is an interesting job, I imagine.
Oh yeah.
Given their thought of no other species in the in the galaxy, I have souls, and none of them believe in Avis, and so
I
they
think it would kind of be to them an equivalent of Jane Goodall.
I was thinking more like like being
Missionary.
being a Klingon farmer. It's a weird thing for in a society that values warriors to be a Klingon farmer. It's like,
Mm.
okay, it's not very honorable, but okay, it's like it needs to be done. It's a thing that's there, but it's not something that
He got
anybody.
the short straw.
Yeah, maybe they're
And
like, okay, we have no diplomatic corps. Who's our
you go.
least aggressive person? You lot
At
over
that
there.
core, I gotta say though, that diplomat was very patient, especially for a krill.
Yeah, probably they probably that's what they did is they're just like, okay, we
They,
have
they
effectively no diplomats. Let's just have like pick the most patient guy you know, smart patient guy you know.
those boarding regulations. Oh my gosh.
Oh yes.
What's your mother's maiden name? Like, what is he? Opening up a bank account or trying to make peace? Urine sample? What? I just need a sample from each of you. Where
The
would we
latex
go?
glove treatment.
Oh my gosh, yes.
We're gonna have to do
Gravity
a search.
Sir, I've done everything I can. I've made up stuff.
I have
5 more
made
minutes,
up
okay?
procedures.
5 more minutes. All right, I'll do what I see what I can do. Rubber glove. Oh God. I guess you'd make a pretty good TSA agent.
True.
But, yeah, then Orin.
Yep.
The whole
You know,
the
Orin
rest
was
of the
played
story.
by the Orin was played by the guy who played Reynard the Fox, the evil god being in The Magicians. So he's just shifty to begin with. So I didn't trust him even first.
Huh. I didn't know you watched The Magicians.
I didn't know the magicians existed.
It's a series on, I think, Sci-Fi. It's on
Uh,
Netflix.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like a season behind now, but I'm like partway through season 2 because it's very in depth and it's very much like an adult version, not adult as in like smutty, but adult as in grown up version of Narnia.
Pretty much.
Okay.
It's kind of a cross between Narnia and Harry Potter for adults.
All right.
But yeah, so I recognized him and I like he's a bad guy. I know it's bad, it's wrong of me, but also I looked in his IMDb and he played the other shows I recognized him from. He also played a bad guy in those. So my first instinct was, yeah, he's a bad guy.
I think that would be what would be perfect for him would be to, for somebody to cast him as
As a good guy.
as an actual good guy, but somebody who's a little who
Shifty. Kind of a
somebody casts sort of shade on him. Somebody that's good that everybody thinks is good casts shade on him, and then
Yeah.
but he's actually really good, and so the whole thing flips on his head because you're expecting him to be the shady
That
guy.
would be great. But also the girl, I was suspicious of her too. She kind of reminded me of River from Firefly.
Yep.
And I'm just like, especially when the accusation was thrown that they destroyed 3 ships. I'm just like,
How?
she did it. It was her. I don't know how. It was her.
I just hope.
I was thinking psychic attack or something, but
Yeah, I don't know, but the what was this? I hope that they don't, that they don't get. They haven't renewed the Orville yet, from what I understand. I mean, maybe I missed it for the 3rd season, and so people have. I saw a video of somebody who was sending pickles, sending a jar of pickles to the fox to get him to read.
Oh my god.
Went to the UPS store with a big jar of like kosher dill pickles and just like, here, send it, and put like, renew the Orville now. It's like,
I actually had a piece of pickle pizza this morning.
Yeah?
A piece of pickle and pepper pizza.
okay.
It was good. Shut up. Don't judge.
I'm not saying it's
Oh,
gross.
I will judge. You judge my bacon, I'll judge your pickles. Though I do like pickles, just not on pizza. Though I do like fried pickles, so that's, I don't think you do, so that's sort of.
Fried pickles?
Yes.
You can
Oh wait,
fry
you're from
everything.
the South. You fry everything. And that's not judging. That's a statement.
And?
Like I said, that's not judging there. That's just a statement.
If it could be fried, it has. Probably at some point. Or somebody's at least tried.
You have deep fried Twinkies.
We have chicken fried steak.
You have deep fried Oreos. You have deep fried everything.
You're making me hungry. Silence, mortals of this food speak.
I'm not hungry because I had my piece of pickled and pepper pizza that I almost put peanut butter on.
Just for the alliteration.
Not just for the alliteration, but it was really fun to say. I put peanut butter on my pickle and I put peanut butter on my pickle and pepper pizza.
The hell are you eating?
That's not the weirdest thing.
Of
But
course
I
it
have-
isn't.
I have had it before. I used to put peanut butter and relish on my pizzas.
Okay.
Eating a perfectly good food.
It's not ruined. It's still good.
Shall we get back to?
I put peanut butter, hot sauce, garlic, and what was it? Garlic and like solid garlic cloves, like chopped up, and olives on a cinnamon raisin bagel.
Well, anyway, let's get back to the story at hand. It's interesting. Malloy's got the connection this time.
Yeah, and it's his oldest and bestest friend that's being accused of something that dude, no way. I know him. He is my best friend. We grew up together. There's
He saved
no
his
way
life.
that,
So, I mean,
yeah. It's like I was best man at their wedding, all this. There is no way that my oldest, bestest friend could be that kind of person.
yeah. But he was.
Mm-hmm. Dude, maybe we can offer the Krill something else instead. Like what? Free back rubs,
massage.
maybe?
Back massage. They do seem awful stiff.
Yeah?
Though that could be the all the costume work.
Yeah. Puppy was watching it with me. He's like, what's that on their face? I'm like, that's their chin. Yeah, but why does it look like that? They're aliens. Oh, okay. I have trained him well.
It's an alien. It's what it does.
It's an alien. That's how it's supposed to look. Okay. They didn't do a great job at making him not seem suspicious. But I'm not sure whether they were trying to keep his suspicious nature
Whether
subtle.
whose side we were supposed to be looking at this from?
Yeah.
Somebody like, are we supposed to be looking at from Ed Mercer's or from Malloy?
Yeah.
Are we supposed to be, Mercer or Malloy? Which side?
Yeah. So
Because from Mercer's perspective, I think we mostly are seeing it from Mercer's perspective of, his suspiciousness, how suspicious he is. We're seeing it from Mercer's perspective rather because we don't know, and but we're not convinced that they. So I think it's more Mercer, and then
with
we get to see what Malloy thinks, but it's more from that perspective.
Because, I mean, they try to humanize him a lot with, his whole family and trying to be all empathetic about him.
Yeah.
With that, the thing that scared me most was that someday, years down the line, her absence would be the norm. That the life I accepted was as real would be the one without her in it. And now that is my reality.
Yeah, it's kind of like if Cisco had been captured to an extent. He's instead of escaping in the escape pod, but
yeah,
it's
and they know firsthand what it's like to be tortured by the Krill, so they can empathize with it. But at the same time, Ed has to be objective, which is really hard to do when it's your best friend's friend.
Yeah, it's just that weighing. It's that very difficult thing, and TNG brought it up a lot, but it's that weighing of trying to weigh this guy versus it's in the pale moonlight, and in some TNG episodes it's that weighing of life. It's and he's trying to go the third path and not actually have to make that decision, where he knows he thinks he's innocent, but he's going to put him going to do it anyway because it saves the life of one Romulan senator, one criminal, and the self-respect of one Starfleet officer. That sort of situation. To save the whole Alpha Quadrant. that sort of situation. He kind of tries to what anyone would do is try and win it the normal way, and the whole thing with the with Oren was basically trying to figure out how he did it and if he did it, and if they could figure out how he did it, then he did it, and then it's less of a problem. But they still they got out of the thorny position by blowing him up. They basically got out of the thorny position by blowing him up, because that way they don't have to make the decision as to, all right, should he be in our custody, locked up?
Yeah, but they didn't do that. He did that. He blew himself up.
Yeah, I know. Well, no, I was talking about the writers.
Oh, the writers, yeah.
Yeah, the writers blew him up rather than having to have Ed deal with, okay, now we got to figure out what to do with him. Now that we know that he did this. They didn't have to deal with that because he's blown up. They're satisfied because he's dead. They don't care. we were going to torture him, and we'd probably enjoy that, but he's blown up.
Yeah. But I mean, that gave better closure to the story anyways, and it had more emotional impact for Malloy.
Yeah.
Because he could see basically the guy turned into a terrorist. I mean, in a way.
Yeah.
And he was on a kamikaze mission to blow up the other ship, give up his own life, trying to be a martyr when in fact it's just he was a terrorist.
Yeah. And he brings up this sort of it wraps that up nicely so that they don't have to deal with the aftermath of that. It also brings up a quote from him: "You make a deal with tyranny, it only gets worse." And that's another one of those balancing acts in diplomatic relations.
Mm-hmm.
There's nobody out there with perfectly clean hands. You're not going to find somebody with that. And you're going to need people that you're going to need to make alliances with people that you don't like to get things done sometimes.
Peace with the Krill would be a slap in the face of Sophie's memory. It's like the Union saying, "We forgive you for all the deaths. We don't care about them anyway."
Yeah. And you can, it's, it's, yes, this is horrible, but,
But
in the same time, it's
what
not.
Malloy and Ed were saying about how, yes, it's horrible what they did, but this will stop them from doing that to other people. This will stop them from keeping on and creating more Sophie issues. Killing off other people's wives and children.
Well, and the more pressing matter is it's the alliance against the Kalon, which,
considering he was imprisoned for 30 years, he doesn't know about the Kalon incursion.
No, I was meaning, it was 20 years, and
20 years.
Talking about the treaty itself was like.
I know. But yeah. I'm talking about them trying to convince him.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just it's not something you want to do, but it's something that in some regards you don't, the more, we can't do that sort of thing. It has its detriments, but it's overall in the future it will be a good thing, so long as they keep to their actual word on the subject.
Yeah, I would really like to see at some point, what's her name come back? I don't remember her Krill name.
The Krill woman, woman,
the woman, Ed's woman.
Yeah, I
I'm
wonder.
surprised they didn't have her in there because she already had a connection to
They could
humans, and
also see that
just like
as a detriment, making her less objective about things. And she could just not. She was a teacher, so she's not really. She was a teacher and then a spy. She's not really. I don't know if she's picked up her diplomat credentials just yet. Um, and they may decide that they don't necessarily want to, uh, they don't want to risk it on her on that. And that's a whole other storyline that I think it would have been a bit much for the episode to handle, to have to deal with
true.
balancing. Okay, we've got the fate of the Alpha Quadrant in the balance. I keep saying Alpha Quadrant, but without a
The
neighborhood name.
galaxy.
Yeah, without knowing what they call the kind of area of space where the Union and Krill are.
I'm
What they call.
pretty sure they were just talking about the galaxy as a whole, though,
Well, I mean,
because
just
the Kalon are a threat to all life in the
yeah,
universe.
but
They want to wipe out all living things, not just a certain sector of space.
yeah, but for the most, what we're concerned with right now is this sector of space, and just calling it
Uh,
what it is. But yeah, it's the whole alpha. It's save the Alpha Quadrant sort of situation. um, oh yeah. Yeah, I just think she would have been a bit much. They can do another, like, and they also have another opportunity where they could interact and where, um, uh, Mercer will probably be invited, but not be doing a whole lot. Would be like, because this was just the sort of the preamble to a treaty, because they always sign this. They apparently have a system for treaties. They sign this initial pact, and then they sign a formal pact later on. This is sort of the opening of negotiations, the sort of laying the groundwork for the treaty. And so when they sign the final treaty, they'll probably bring Ed there, and it's not unbelievable that they'd send her along with the delegation in order to maybe even spy on the Union. You know, go a bit Garrick on it and spy on the Union. It's like, eh? We may be allies, but we're still gonna spy on you.
oh yeah.
Um, let's see. Trivia. Going through the Orville wiki. Um, Ceasefire was achieved between the Union and the Krill after the Battle of Earth during the Kalon conflict, which makes Orin's destruction of the Krill ships a serious crime. Mercer and the ambassador note that the ceasefire was signed 30 days earlier, which means this episode takes place at least 1 month after the events in Identity Part 2. We talked about Yaphet and his Sapphire Star. Krill ambassador reveals that the 4 ships destroyed by Orin had a combined complement of 1,200 Krill. This would indicate that the average Krill ship, presumably the prolific Krill destroyer, has a crew complement equal to that of the exploratory class Orville, which was previously noted to have a complement of 300. The Krill ambassador signs his initials KTZ in the Krillian language. Krillian. And the Orville and Dvorokos orbit the planet Terra Z3. Terra is a common alternative name for the star Gamma Aquitae, which sits 395 light years away in the constellation Aquila. Aquila, maybe. With the Orville's top flight speed established at just over 10 light years per hour, that means Terra Z3 is roughly 1 day, 15 hours, and 30 minutes from Earth. And that's the trivia that they give you.
Okay, let's see. Mention that. Dvorakos is a fun name to say, plus it means bringer of blood, which is also fun. Let's see. I'm just looking through all of my notes now. You are godless heretics by nature, but even you can't ignore such killing. Yeah, sure. Great way to broker peace, dude.
Again, Krill probably not well suited to diplomats. It's a bit like in fact, it's a bit just like having a Klingon diplomat. It's like,
yeah, not the most.
I don't even need to go to farmers like I did earlier. Yeah, it's like,
yeah,
just diplomat, a Klingon diplomat. It's like, you are specifically, your job is to stop the thing that our culture values.
yeah.
What?
Your ship, our ship will return in 12 hours. You have that long to decide if this will be a lock-by or a battleground. Kind of made me think of the line in DuckTales where she's like, that's not a foyer, it's a tomb.
Which it also seems like a bit of an overreaction in that you've got the Kalon out there, and your first instinct is not to just delay the talks until something can be worked out. It's to actively start fighting the Union.
Yeah.
That seems like a little bit of an overreaction and a real short-sighted.
And in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
Patriotism is only for people with large families. That's not really true, but I can understand his motivation for saying it.
And let's see. Was there anything else?
The musical, I forget what she called the musical instrument, but her parents made her play it. It was pretty much the only reason I didn't get laid in the academy. Just an FYI, he'll probably get you laid now. And there's Dan waving, saying, "Oh, that's a beautiful. Your play was beautiful." I love engineer Dan just being thrown in there every so often.
He was initially kind of annoying, but
yeah,
he's so affable. He's so just
he is
pure
Neelix,
that it's just.
He is basically Neelix. He is annoying, but endearingly so.
Well, and he's so pure, just like
exactly.
I have. It's not, he's just he's it's hard to say anything about it. It's like,
yeah,
I don't
he's engineer Dan. He's adorable.
He doesn't do anything to make you hate him. He's just sort of there, and he's just sort of chill in there, and it's just like, okay,
he just wants love.
Yeah, and he's just looking for love. He's just I don't know what species he is. He's just that species looking for love, and
he apparently has for Zileans.
Yes, apparently so. Though, it could be. I don't know what ended. Catan being on there, the actress playing that, but some of these things you could swap them out and it wouldn't be terrible, but you'd need adjustments here and there, but it wouldn't be that bad. But yeah. Anyway,
I like Tala. Honestly, she. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Alara, but Tala is very much more grown up than Alara, because Alara was very green and very innocent and very sweet and cutesy, and then Tala is just this total badass.
Well, it did feel like it. Her being as young and as inexperienced, it made the Orville feel more like just another ship of the line. Not
Yeah.
so I don't want to say ship of the line, but just another ship out there. It's not the Enterprise. They're not getting the best.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, and like I said, I love Alara.
Yeah.
And her starting out with the new captain made sense.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that her replacement is different to her. You know, it's not just another cutesy Salean.
Yeah.
She is a badass officer. She's not just this sweet new, another little green security officer. She's a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah. I wonder how much of this they had written, and then when they figured out that they wanted to send Katana off, they're like, okay, well, we can still salvage some of this stuff with her, and rewrite some of it, and rewrite some of the dialogue, and change a few things here and there, and still make it work.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't have a problem with the new security officer. She's good too. But it
love
did
the Salean too.
what?
You know, I love the Salean names too. Alara Katan, Tala. I forget her last name at the moment because I keep writing Tala.
Yeah, she's but yeah, it worked. I think having Alara there at the beginning, yeah, it helped. It helped with that ragtag sort of feel to the crew, and now the crew is starting to mature and gel.
Yeah,
And so it it feels less ragtag. It feels like this is sort of a crew that was supposed to be just sort of just another crew, or we need a captain for this thing, and we're just sort of throwing Mercer at this crew of misfits and just sort of go do these things we tell you to do. It's starting to feel more like they've got some serious weight. They know what they're doing, and they've got it working at with like a well-oiled machine. And I'm curious as to how, with all the things that happen to the Orville, like their logs when they send them back to the Union, it's like, oh yes, nearly died because of porn.
yeah,
all the stuff that they listed in that one episode.
yeah.
How well known is the Orville at this point? Does it get along with this charmed yet cursed ship that just does crazy things on a regular basis?
Yeah. And how much of it do they actually put in their reports?
Yeah.
I mean, big stuff they have to put in. I get that.
But
Like, the almost dying from porn. That they had to put in, although they might have tweaked a few instances and said, oh yeah, there was an accidental virus downloaded, not specifying that it was porn addiction. But
yeah,
it just makes you wonder how
massage the truth a little, but
yeah, how much of that is actually going into their reports.
I don't think Isaac's removal of Malloy's leg got in there.
Yeah, no, or the Mr. Potato Head incident.
Yeah, it made it back to the Kalon, but it probably didn't make it back to the Union, as it wasn't really a big deal.
Yeah, it's like, it's just a prank.
Just a prank, bro. But
and one of Tala's quotes, even if he had destroyed those ships, can you blame him? If I'd been through what he had, I would have wanted to blow up every Krill ship I see too. And this is why peace treaties don't get signed every day.
yes.
I'm glad to see Isaac was treated well as part of the crew.
Yeah, he's not as suspicious as Orville.
But I just realized something that's confusing me. What's stopping the Kalon from remote shutting him down again?
Maybe,
Um,
maybe when Yaphet. Well, now that Yaphet knows how to turn him back on, they figured it's just a waste of time. Because
Yeah, but he
Yaphet
or
will
was
just
shut
turn him
down
back
from
on again.
it,
he was
or
shut down from an EMP though.
or it just the EMP fried that, and when he got turned back on, that didn't get reactivated, or they figured he was just deactivated with the rest of the crew. And none of the other Kalons are back aboard. He probably isn't either. And since he's not sending any reports anymore, they just figure he's dead.
Yeah.
Uh,
Or Yaphet disabled that circuit and said, nope.
They turned off his Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Your Wi-Fi is turned off. Would you like to turn it on and not use your mobile data?
No.
uh,
But I guess Dr. Finn would consider him a hotspot.
oh. Anyway, anything else before we...
Let's see. Two
We've
closet
hit...
storage cells went missing, but no weapons. So basically all this guy's done is steal some pens from the office. What are we missing?
There.
And Gordon is rubbish at conversations when he's nervous. He's asked Tala for a drink, and she's like, "Are you asking me out on a date? What? No. Just you want to get a drink? We need to talk stuff. Sure. You want to? I could take a break. No, let's do this here.
Yeah, but that was there was a lot of there's a lot on his mind at that moment.
Yeah. And you wonder why he's horrible with girls. He's just horrible with girls.
Mm.
If I tell Ed I betray a man who's been my friend for 30 years, a man who saved my life. If I don't tell him, I betray the whole crew and Ed.
Yeah, but you've already
So-
made your decision by telling me, haven't you?
Yeah. So quite a dilemma he was in, but it was nice that he made the right decision, and she probably helped him figure out how to go about doing that.
Yeah, it was probably actually a good idea to go ahead and, in some ways, to talk to her in private, so that if he'd been, he could be Oren could be anywhere, so he could have stepped onto that bridge, and it could have the rumor could have gotten around that they know what he wants to do.
Exactly.
And so go see her in private, and then she does, it's that if you have a secret to keep, trust one person, there's no, just like that one, if you have to tell somebody, tell one person. And that allows him to have, because Mercer may be on the bridge, and he may not be able to get him alone. And then if Catan calls him in to talk to him, then it won't be as weird if Chief of Security calls him in, or Tala calls, if Chief of Security calls him in, it won't be as weird if Malloy tries to pull him aside. It won't be as obvious. And then they can pull what they pulled.
We both know I could put your lights out with one hand. Don't make me do it.
Yeah.
She is such a badass.
She is.
But the escape ruse was really obvious. I mean, that was a really obvious ploy.
Yeah, it's like, no, he's not going to shoot. He's not going to shoot her. It's not. It's like,
yeah. That's on stun, obviously, but I mean, that was just so obvious. Although I did know that so the kid can talk. Damn right I talk. Ever meet a Zillion before? Body flip. You have now.
And by doing so, nearly killed everybody.
The entire ship. But I mean, that's a great defense mechanism. That's like reverse hemophilia. Instead of you being afraid of getting cut, everybody's afraid of cutting you.
Mm.
Yeah, though on their home planet, it's not a big deal because they have
Yeah,
there's stuff in the
chemical
atmosphere that mitigates
neutralized.
it. But yeah,
I knew she was suspicious.
suspicious.
Yeah.
And
I actually wrote that. Orin is so suspicious, or suspicious, rather.
Yes, if you're not a long-term fan of the channel, that won't make any sense to you.
Go watch our Ask Sombra blog.
Yes.
Recitations. That will make sense. What is that? Justice. Looks more like eggnog.
Sometimes justice looks like eggnog.
Well, you know what they say. Justice is best served ice cold.
Anyway,
Poor,
any
poor Gordon, finding out his oldest friend is a traitor and a liar. Yet he's still trying to save him until the last second. You ungrateful bastard, I saved your life. And I'll always be grateful. But asking me to commit to a kamikaze mission is kind of a backpedal, don't you think?
no.
Go. I don't want to lose you again. That had to be sickening, though. Spinning around in the endlessness of space like that, with the stars just like whirring past you.
yeah.
I was getting kind of nauseous just watching it, honestly. And I'm sure Osgood would be pretty much panicking in her spacesuit at that point. But at least the treaty carries through. And I noted that the Krill's signature looks kind of like Asian, like a Japanese script, especially the way he wrote it. Either that or just really bad handwriting. Peace is only as strong as the ones who uphold it. Of course, and trust is earned. On that we agree, Commander. It's not easy to put duty above friendship, especially when somebody dies. Orin died a long time ago. The man on that shuttle was somebody else. Dude, you're my best friend. Nobody's gonna come in along and wreck that. Well, maybe a hot girl, but beyond that.
Oh yeah.
And that's the last of my quote.
Yeah, that last little bit with Malloy and Mercer. In some ways, some of it, the way the Mercer part of it seemed a little forced in some of it, but
well,
I mean, it was a good thing to have on record.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the Mercer's lines were a little. It would have made more sense especially in the earlier seasons, but I feel like he should have gotten over that a little more, especially after the whole Kalon invasion thing. But I mean, even Kate Stewart can have a crisis of confidence. So I mean, why can't Ed, who is a lot less confident, have a crisis?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that far-fetched so much as just not as likely.
All right.
That's the lines I got.
All right.